All right, what's up, everyone? I'm Filoki, and today we are going to be doing a bit of a preview for the Week 2 matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Coming off a Super Bowl win on Monday, the Seattle Seahawks are going to hopefully continue their momentum against the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Let's talk about how they can do that. So, last week, the 49ers didn't have the greatest of games. Of course, they were playing in some bad weather, but they lost to the Chicago Bears. Last week, the Seattle Seahawks played in some pretty good weather, and we beat the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson beat that man, won the Super Bowl, most important game of the season. We did it. But now going into this game, we are quite healthy. Other than the Jamal Adams injury, which is incredibly unfortunate, we are going into this game with a couple questionables and a single doubtful. The questionables are a little bit important. Artie Burns didn't get too much playing time because Michael Jackson did great and Tariq Woolen both did great. Justin Coleman, he was our main nickel corner, so it's kind of unfortunate to see him on this list. Hopefully he will be able to play. But if not, Kobe Bryant will probably get those opportunities. And he didn't play a lot last week. I think he got 2 whole snaps, and one of them he got completely dominated for like a 70-yard touchdown. So that's why Justin Coleman played the majority of the game. But if he isn't playing, I do have faith that Kobe Bryant could potentially come in and actually, do well. Because he's shown that he can do good. He just keeps on, making single play mistakes that are very big. Like, they lead to points. But what you don't see here that is the most important for the Seattle Seahawks is the return of Damian Lewis and the debut of Kenneth Walker. Both of those guys are playing. They had good practices. They seemed throughout the week to be healthy, and they are going to be playing this week. And that's incredible news. 1, we get our starting guard back. 2, we get to see our bright, young running back, Kenneth Walker. It's going to be fun. For the San Francisco 49ers, the main thing right here, George Kittle, he's questionable. If he does play, that's a huge guy that we're going to have to watch out for. If he doesn't, that's a huge relief. But George Kittle, of course, if he is playing, one of, if not the best tight ends in the league. So that'll be something important to watch. But something interesting that I saw going into this game, me as a gambling addict, is the spread. You may be looking at this and, hey, let me tell you what's going on. So 73.5% is the prediction for the probability of the 49ers winning this game. And you may look down here at the pick center and see what plus 9.5 spread, minus 9.5 spread, plus 335. Vegas does not believe in the Seattle Seahawks going into this game. Vegas thinks that the 49ers are going to beat the Seahawks by at least 9 points. They are giving the Seahawks almost 10 points of wiggle room. So basically, they don't think the Seahawks are going to win. The Seahawks are 335 underdogs, which basically means if you bet $100, you make $335 and get your $100 back. So, I'm not going to promote gambling, but I will say I may or may not have put a couple bucks on it. But I just think that's interesting that Vegas is completely against us, even though we are the team with the win against the better team, and the 49ers are the team with the loss against the worst team in the Bears. But, that's just my opinion. I think it's interesting. But now we get to the meat and potatoes and whatever that saying is of the preview. We dug deep, boys. We got the forecast. We've got the forecast for the game exactly Sunday afternoon where the game will be taking place. We've got the forecast. Will it be a horrible game? Will it be a good game? Well, let me tell you, there is 61% humidity, a 70% chance of precipitation. Not a lot of rain. Only 0.09 inches. However, 18-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We might see a bit of wind going into this game. I don't know why I did this. But let's take a look at the 49ers and the Bears last week. Let's see what we can gather from this information. So, of course, we got to take into account, put the asterisk on it. It was horrible weather, so we're going to see some worse passing stats from both quarterbacks, probably some worse rushing stats, probably the defense looking better than the offense because of the conditions. However, what we see from this is a clear pattern from the 49ers. Trey Lance running the ball a lot. 13 rushes for Trey Lance. We got Deebo Samuel, of course, getting his weird running back usage as a wide receiver. He got a touchdown. He didn't really do too much in the receiving game, but, the run game, Deebo Samuel is going to be used in that area. Elijah Mitchell, he got injured, which is unfortunate. Jeff Wilson will be taking his place, and he didn't have a great game. 9 rushes for 22 yards, 2.4 a carry. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in this game because, they're missing their starting running back. But Jeff Wilson, I believe he came in last season and did pretty solid in the time that he was actually being used. But overall, we see Trey Lance will probably be a big runner in this game, and that'll be something to keep in mind because, we might be able to get decent pressure, but if we do get good enough pressure but we leave an opening, he can get out and start running and get some yards on us. That'll be something that we need to watch out for. Of course, if George Kittle is going to be playing, he didn't play last week, he will be a bit more of an impact because, the passing wasn't great last week. I'd assume with someone like George Kittle there, they will do a lot better in the passing game going to him. But Trey Lance may not have had the greatest throwing game, but he can run. He can use his legs. Deebo Samuel, of course, is a dynamic offensive player. So that's something to watch out for. Just the ability to run and run whenever they want. That is something that the 49ers definitely do have. Looking at their defense, they had a very solid game from Nick Bosa. I believe he had 2 sacks. It says 1 here, but I've seen people saying 2 sacks. But that's going to be yet another big test for Charles Cross. And on the other side, I believe they have Eric Armstead. Yeah, we had good pass rushers last week against the Broncos. We're going to have them once again. It's going to be a pretty much of a pain to deal with them because, we just came off of a week where we saw our rookies doing very solid against good pass rushers, but then they kind of started to let up. Bradley Chubb started to get some pressure, got 2 sacks. Hopefully we'll be able to contain Nick Bosa, who is clearly superior to Bradley Chubb. I guess we'll see how that goes, but I think we may be able to get more done out of the passing game. But they do have good linebackers, so the whole abusing their linebackers with tight ends isn't going to work as well as it did against the Broncos. However, talking about the Broncos, let's take a look at our own stats, see what we can gather from this. Rashad Penny, 5 yards a carry. I think he'll do slightly better in this game. Of course, the 49ers have a very good defense. But, last week we just could not get the runs going. We really tried to go away from it at a certain point. It seemed like we were running, and then it just wasn't working. We just stopped, and we just started tossing the ball. We let Geno Smith do what he wanted in the first half, and it started to work. However, I do think with Kenneth Walker, with Rashad Penny, with Damian Lewis being back, we are going to run the ball a little bit more, especially if the weather is, not as great as it could be. There's a good chance that we end up running the ball more than we do pass the ball. But going into this game, I have some faith in us. Surprisingly, I have a decent amount of faith in us. Of course, we lost Jamal Adams. However, Josh Jones did come in and have a solid game. He didn't do anything spectacular, but he made tackles where he needed to make tackles. And honestly, I think as a team we have some pretty solid depth at safety, so I think we will be okay without Jamal Adams. It is nice to have Ken Walker back, and it is also nice to get Damian Lewis back. So we are pretty healthy going into this game, all things considered. But I do believe that this is a winnable game. We saw the 49ers lose to the Bears. The Bears are not a great team. And yeah, they did a pretty decent job stopping their run game. 2.7 yards per carry average for their running backs as a whole and just their run game as a whole, but that includes Justin Fields. And that also includes David Montgomery, who had 17 carries for 26 yards. But someone like Khalil Herbert had 5 yards per carry. It's kind of all over the place. This game, there's really not too much that you can take from it, of course, because the conditions were so bad. You have no idea how anybody's going to play. Even the interception that Trey Lance had, it wasn't the worst throw. It was a solid throw, idea, but you could tell the ball slipped out of his hands. It didn't really spiral as much as it should have, and it got picked off. There's just a lot, if you watch this game, that you really can't take too much from it. But we are 1-0 against one of the favorites in this NFL league right now, and the 49ers are 0-1 against one of the lower bottom-tier teams in the NFL right now. So, with that, I believe that there is a chance. And when there's a chance, I will bet on it because I'm a gambling addict. So if we do end up losing this game, I blame it completely on the fact that I bet for the Seattle Seahawks to win. Last week, I bet that the Broncos would win because I was thinking, hey, Broncos most likely to win. If we win, I'll be happy. If the Broncos win, I'll make money. So now, like an idiot, absolute imbecile, brain dead, I decided to bet on the Seattle Seahawks. And now if we lose, it's all my fault. I'm sorry. I'm a gambling addict. I can't control myself. But that's going to do it for this video. I believe that this is a winnable game. Will we win it? Who knows? We didn't really get to see the full potential 49ers, especially if George Kittle is going to be playing next week. We really don't know what we're going to be seeing compared to what we saw last week. So it's going to be slightly more difficult than we would expect just if you're looking at their previous games. So going into this, I'm a bit hesitant to say that we'll win, but I do have faith. There obviously is a chance. There's always a chance. And after our performance last week, what we saw, I believe that chance is slightly elevated in the minds of basically everybody. But that's my prediction. I think there's a chance we win. I think we could. It depends on Geno Smith. If Geno Smith plays like first half Geno Smith, we take the dub. If he plays first half Geno Smith all game, we take the dub. If he plays second half Geno Smith all game, we take a fat L. But that's going to do it for my prediction. I think there's a chance. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this game. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.